Thank you so much. I am elated to motivate you this afternoon. You see, we all have plans, goals, and dreams for our lives. Sometimes those goals, however, can seem unattainable. Maybe it's something that we had years back and life seems to have left them on the sidelines. But what I want to talk to you about today is that I discovered in my own life, as I launched out with projects and plans and things that I wanted to do, that when I didn't have a plan, I couldn't achieve them. I was having success on this side in a lot of things and in areas of my life, and I was very proud of that. But I seemed to have just as many projects and things that I was trying to achieve on this side that were falling by the wayside. And I had to take a look at that and determine what was the difference making the difference. Why did I have success in these areas of my life, and why did I seem to be missing the mark on this side? And you know, the reality is we all have those dreams, and motivational speaker Zig Ziglar says that you were born to win. But in order to be a winner, you have to plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. And so I want to give you these tools. Thank you. I want to give you these next 10 tools to help you, like they helped me, to roll out a plan. Number one is to define your purpose. Each one of us was born with a divine purpose in life. You were put on this planet to achieve something, to be something great. And you might not discover the cure for AIDS or the cure for cancer, but there's something that the world is waiting on that's inside of you and inside of me. And we've got to take the bushel off of that light and let that shine. But how do you find your purpose? That's the golden question, isn't it? How do you know what you were put on the earth to do? And the reality is that your purpose is what pulls you. Your purpose is what causes you to get up early in the morning and stay up late at night. Your purpose is that thing that you want to do, and you're so passionate about it that you'll do it without even being paid. That's what you were put on the earth to do. And when you achieve that, that's where real peace and happiness comes in. Number two, though, is to examine your motives. Before you launch out onto a plan, understand why it is that you're doing that. So many people start out on an endeavor not even realizing that they're doing it but for somebody else. It's because their parents wanted them to do it. They said, oh, you're supposed to be a doctor. That's what your mother and I want for you, so that's what you're going to do. Or maybe it's a spouse that's pushing them. Or maybe it's competition. A cousin, somebody, a colleague, maybe a sibling. And you're just achieving something such as a postgraduate degree because they did it. It's somebody else's dream and it's somebody else's motive that's pulling you. But the best motive that's going to get you and me to the end, to achieving and holding that dream in our hands and really experiencing it, is because we want to leave a legacy of goodness and love and expose that gift that is on the inside of you. Number three is to catch the vision. If you can't see yourself achieving, then you can't have it. You've got to be able to see yourself, and not only see yourself, but literally engage all of your senses to see yourself at that place of success, to see yourself achieving what it is that's in your heart to do. And I challenge each one of you to go home after this TED Talk today and to take a half an hour, maybe a weekend, to really see yourself. Olympic athletes do this. They see themselves achieving. They see themselves doing that athletic move and then ultimately winning and taking the gold. We need to do the same thing. We need to take the time to pause and see ourselves in that place. Maybe it's an office building where you're the CEO. Maybe it's a quiet place where you're sitting and writing. Maybe you've always wanted to open a bakery and it has the smell of grandma's secret cookie recipe. But see it and then achieve it. Number four is determine who will be affected. You know, whenever we decide to do something in life, it's not just about us. There are other people around us who will be affected. And I'm not telling you, and even in my own life, saying that we need to be driven by the desires and needs of others. But because those people that we care about and we love are going to be impacted by the steps that you and I decide to make, we owe it to ourselves and to them to determine how they'll be affected. Your spouse, your children, your employees, those people that are closest to you, you want there when you're at the finish line. And that's why number 5 is so important in creating a dream team. Anybody remember the 1992 men's Olympic basketball team, the Dream Team? It was the greatest basketball team ever assembled, and I believe that to date. Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Larry Bird, and other basketball greats. They were a common team with a common vision and a common goal. They supported each other. You and I need a dream team. We need people that are going to be with us when times are hard and down, because there will be hard and down times. We need people that are going to cheer you on. When you want to throw in the towel, they say, you better not throw in the towel because you're just about to win. You need people that you can just sit with you when things aren't going the way you thought that they would. And you need people who are going to stand there when you do cross that finish line and say, I told you you could do it. Number 6 is decide where you need to be. In your plan and the dreams that you want to roll out in your life, there is a place. There is a specific place where you and I ought to be. For somebody, that might be a city. It might be a big skyrise in New York or in Paris. But for somebody else, that might be a small 2-bedroom cottage by a river. It's that place that you feel comfortable. It's the place that inspires you. It's the place that encourages you. It's the place where you feel most at peace and where you can call home. But it might not be a city that you necessarily need to consider moving to. It might be a place, maybe where you work. It's a department. You might work in the finance department, but you really want to work with people and help out with employee engagement and work in human resources. Where is that place that makes you feel most at home and comfortable? And then number 7, dreaming is free, but to execute the dream takes resources. But a lot of times we stick our heads in the sand like ostriches, and we fail to crunch the numbers and count the cost, because there is a cost, but we ought not to be afraid of that. We ought to be willing to open ourselves up to see what the numbers say. And the reality is, you don't have to wait to start your dream until you have $100,000 in the bank or $1 million in the bank. No, you can start your dream today. You can start your dream right now with no money in the bank, by opening up your mind to see yourself there. And the reality is also this: there are people who'll invest in your dream. You may not even use your own money to fulfill all of the vision and the goals that you have inside of you. Number 8, discern the right timing. You know, there's a time for everything. And sometimes it's time to launch and go forward. You might be holding back, saying, no, I just don't feel like it's the right time. But it could be fear holding you back. Determine if now is the time. Sometimes you need to take a pause, and sometimes life gives you that pause. I know that for me as a young prosecutor here in Albemarle County, I had goals that I wanted. I was living at home with my parents. Everything was great. I wanted to build a home. Of course, you want to get married and have a social life and all these wonderful things. It's just life. And then life happened to me because my father had a massive stroke and everything was turned upside down. And I decided I wasn't going to move out right then, but my dreams didn't die there. I just took a pause. And then sometimes you need to simply stop and turn around, because you might be pursuing a dream or a goal and going in one direction, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the way, you realize, this isn't what I really want. But a lot of times it's hard to look yourself in the mirror or others who have been supporting you and say, I actually need to turn around. You know, I was going to a speaking engagement just last week, and I had the music on in the car, and I was just enjoying myself. And about midway through, I realized, you know what? Something doesn't feel right. I feel like I'm going in the wrong direction. And I was. I realized I was at the wrong exit, and my exit was about 4 back. So I turned around, didn't back up on the highway like I saw some people do. But there's going to be something inside of you. It's intangible, but it's going to speak to you and say, you're going in the wrong direction. Don't be afraid to turn. And then 9 is prepare with self-motivation, because sometimes that dream team that you assemble isn't going to be there. They're not going to be there to pick up the phone. Or maybe they're there physically, but they're just not hearing and understanding. You've got to be able to go back to that vision. Go back to the place where you saw yourself succeeding and achieving. Go back to your journal where you wrote down, this is where I want to be. And let that give you the motivation to move forward. And then finally, number 10, put your plan into action. So many people get right to the bank of the River Jordan. The promised land is just there, but they fail to take that step and cross over. Two primary reasons why that happens. Number one is fear of failure, and number two is fear of success. But today with these 10 keys, I am confident because it's worked in my own life. If you want to win, you can plan to win, prepare to win, and expect to win. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.